Welcome to part 3 of a comprehensive interview with adult actress and adult performer advocate Lasha Lane. In parts 1 and 2 of this interview, Alexandra and Lasha discussed issues, elements, and controversy revolving around the Free Speech Coalition's past testing network and its current accessibility to performers of color and lower income brackets. In this final segment of the interview, Lasha and Alexandra discuss the future of potential educational resources for performers in the adult entertainment industry, along with some other positive and negative situations currently playing out within the political ranks of the adult entertainment industry. One thing that if I had a magic wand and I could change things, I would create some sort of a system to where, or just a service that would even be attached to this testing, to where if women want to sit down and speak with somebody who's like an advisor or a counselor in regards to creating a long-term...
There is that place.
Yeah, that's something.
That place now.
Okay.
And that is the issue that Apag and FSC are having. Apag can do this. Apag is working with California right now. They're creating a system where sex workers understand what this industry is. They're able to have the resources that they need, like counseling. They have pineapple support. They have all these things that our industry people, our mainstream, is not offering us.
Well, I did hear the controversy around what happened. Apparently, this was Alana's initial idea. Then somehow FSC Michelle and Lotus Lain lifted the idea, approached Pornhub behind Alana's back, according to Alana's tweets, because I documented all of this on Porn News Today. And it's like there's some sort of a fight between who is going to be the educational resource. So, yeah.
And that just kind of comes back to my original thing with FSC and the past testing and all that. If you're able, and this is my mindset, and it kind of turned over and talked to Alana about it. If you're willing to stab other performers in the back, and I don't even know all of the details, but let's just go by for what it looks like from the outside, okay? If you're willing, as FSC, past Free Speech Coalition, all the people that speak for us, and tell us not to work in this industry and tell us not to do certain things. If you're willing to do all that AB 2389 wants them to do and squeeze our necks some more, and you're willing to offer them the same thing that Apag is willing to do for free, but you're willing to do it at a price, what else are you willing to do? You know,
look, when it comes to FSC, I think that the FSC is willing to take newborns and sell them to that is not Lasha Lane saying that. That's me.
I have no idea. I don't know. I try to just work with what I know and what it's perceived.
But I see what you're saying. Yeah. Because but there always has been, it seems, at least from my perspective, an objective to not educate the performers, because anyone who's not educated is easier to control. So I do think that agenda is without a doubt in place. And I do see how the APAG's efforts when it comes to the free education, I think it's a wonderful idea. I do. I do think that it's horrible that, you know, if it's true what Alana has said about the FSC lifting the idea, I think that they should be ashamed of themselves.
I think that's horrible. Yeah, I think
but it's good to hear and at least see that the educational push is on the cusp. But the push back could, you know, theoretically be from the agents who do not want an educated talent pool. And the FSC, from my perspective, seems to be more about the agents and even the publicists than the actual talent.
It's not free speech anymore.
It never has been.
I think that originally, when in the 90s when it started, that FSC was on the right track at that point.
Bill Margold, he was very involved with the conception. He's, you know, passed away since, but he had a vision. Okay. So if you ever look back at things that he had to say, you can see what the FSC was intentional, what the intention was initially supposed to be.
Right.
But today, it does seem that a lot of people are utilizing it.
They're utilizing it to get paid. They're utilizing it to get paid. And it really kind of bummed me out, that whole exchange. And that's what another thing that kicked me up with this whole thing was the exchange that Alana had on Twitter. And when I saw Lotus's name attached to it, it broke my heart, because I look up to Lotus. I look up to her as a very outspoken and very strong supporter of women of color and people and others within our community. You know, I love the work that she does with kink.com. I love the work that she does with our bisexual men within this community. I love that she's working with FSC. And I'm hoping that there is a miscommunication and that there is no underhandedness.
So too, because that surprised me when I did see her name.
And honestly, I kind of cried over it, because for someone who's been so vocal about the way Black women are treated in this industry and has been heard, for you to turn around and be accused of that. She doesn't have to say anything to me. She doesn't owe me any explanation at all. But just to even, as a Black woman, to see that, I would make a statement. You know, I would be like, yo, it wasn't like that. Or let me talk to Elena, make sure she has her ducks in a row. But if, you know, why put, or is someone even putting this on Lotus and she doesn't even know that?
That's what I wondered. I was wondering if she was being utilized as a scapegoat by somebody else. That crossed my mind.
They do that to us as well. You know, they take a token, and I'm not calling her a token because I kind of want to reference
from a lot of people's perspective, yes, she is a token. Okay, I'll say it then. From
it's not
perspective. You don't have to say
that one. Yes, for that particular thing, she's being used as a token, and I want to make sure that she actually that she knows that. You know, I haven't had a chance to have a conversation with her because it's not my place to do that yet. I'm not in this fight yet. This is just on my mind thought. But as someone who wants to fight for this community, who wants to be in the trenches along with her and with FSC and Apag at the same time, I want to make sure that you're not a buffoon. You're not just doing the show and dance, you know, for everybody in order to get more business. You're not just doing that. I'm going to fight for Black women in this space and then still turn around and do that. So I want to make sure that she's not being misrepresented in that light, because that's my first thing. I want to make sure
she could be afraid to say something, because there was an incident not too long ago involving Anna Fox, Mark Schechter, and who else? Caden Cross, to where Anna Fox verbalized on Twitter that she had felt like she was mistreated and was the recipient of a certain level of racism from Caden Cross and her husband for some sort of a scene that they were doing. And it somehow came out that Mark Schechter, and I think that she's actually represented by Schechter at this point. I don't know if she was at the time or what the deal is, but supposedly he asked her not to speak out about it. And I have noticed, now keep in mind, these are all my observations. I don't know. But
all of this is conjecture. All this is observation.
And Anna seem close. So, I've even seen an interview, and I do want to send you the link to that, to where they were at some sort of an award show, and someone was interviewing them, and the interview asked them the question, hey, are either of you up for an award at this particular show? And they were like, no, but we're here to support people. But it was almost like they were just accepting of the discriminatory practices. And look, I get it that sometimes you do have to bite your tongue in certain situations, but I'm just wondering, how much are their hands being tied? Because if their hands are being tied, where would they go for help if they feel like every venue of communication
nowhere
shut off? And you were asking me, why do you keep, you know, if you feel as negative as you do, why do you keep moving forward? And I guess there is that tiny spark within me to where I feel like, look, I know a lot of people might hate me or might have the wrong impression, but I'm just going to be here to where if it's life or death, I'm here, you know? So
I'm going to let you know. Yeah. And this is one of the thing is that I still have a strong amount of hope for Lotus, because she said it herself in a ManyVids video interview that she did. This industry will pick 1 or 2 Black women as the face of this industry for a year at a time, and no other Black women can get above that. And right now it's Anna, and in that point in that time, it was Anna, and Anna's fighting. I love Anna to death. Anna is making strides that no one even knows about. I can see it. I can see it in her face. I can see it in what she does. I can see it in the moves that she takes. The woman is and I also, it sucks too. The Black women in this industry, they are finally starting to stick together. They're finally starting to support each other. Anna, Osa, Kira, Misty, all of those, Demi Sutra. When I go to AVN, they're all together. They may not kind of like kiki together all the time, but you see them, they hang out together, give each other hugs. They really do support each other. The agents, again, this is why I'm telling you, agents need to get the fuck out of here, because Mark Schechtter's a piece of shit. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I mean, I don't like Mark Schechter. I've already, and I kind of tested it. I asked him, I straight up sent him an email, and I asked him, like, I want you to represent me. What do you think, about the whole thing? And told him my story. I met him in Expo, and I know his wife is Black, and that has nothing to do with the way that men in this industry treat women of color, or just women in general. I don't care if you have a Black wife. I don't care.
Are you talking about Spiegler or Schecter?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So Spiegler and Schecter. Spiegler girls, I can't really comment on Spiegler, because I just know that the way that they structure the women of color that they represent, they have to be palatable for the mainstream audience. Mm-hmm. So in order to remain on that level and still get the kind of bookings that you want to get, you do have to kind of bite your tongue. But that goes back to me saying, now I've noticed that a lot of them are not biting their tongue anymore. And if you've noticed, a lot of them have been dropped from rosters this year. I believe that a lot of them are not working with the same people that they used to. A lot of them are doing their own thing. And now with the shutdown, which is why I'm so excited to see what happens, the shit's gonna shake up. People are not gonna be able to jump back into studio work like they used to.
Right.
Studios are gonna have to build up that revenue again. They're just sitting kind of blind. They're stagnant right now. No one is doing anything. This world is on pause. So they're trying to figure out.
I am curious. What did Schechter say to you when you were, testing the waters to see if he would be open to representing you? Because I'm curious about that.
And I know why you're curious about it. And I wanted to send you the response for it, because it kind of feeds. It not feeds, but it kind of goes along the vein of what you were talking about as far as.
There's a young woman who he gave a hard time to, and it's bothered me for a while. So. I'm not looking to gather information against him, because I've never spoken to him in person, but I've just, there's something. It's not necessarily a gathering. It shows a pattern of intent. It really does. It shows what your outlook is. His response to me was that I was too old. He was looking for women between the ages of 18 and 22 only to be represented. Only between 18 and 22, really?
I believe so. Yeah.
Let me.
I'll read you the email.
Okay. No, I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm getting it right, because okay. I will, and I'll forward you the email.
Yeah, you don't have to send me the whole thing. Just if there's a screenshot.
Yeah, I'll just send the entire chain. I'll forward it to you.
Wow.
And also, let me just preface this by saying I don't mind. I'm a journalist at heart. I definitely believe in integrity, and I believe that if someone comes to me and tells me something that they don't want me to disclose, I will not disclose who told me that, but I will make sure that they're telling me the truth. Before that. So when I put names out, it's just because at this point I can prove it. I just think that that's something that needs to be known about that particular agency, so that other women don't waste their time. Right. Because, so from this point, from 2020, what they're doing is they're only casting, or they're only representing and managing women between this particular age frame. And it's so far gone from whatever is out there right now. And I looked at it in two perspectives: as a business owner and as a performer. So as a business owner, I can understand why they would do that, because someone between the ages of 18 to 22 has a longer career within the porn industry, and it's open door. It's super revolving. Girls are in and out, and they sell. You know, that's the thing. So if you're about the cost and you're about the overall budget of it, this is what you're looking for: the longevity of the women that are in this business and what sells, what content sells.
Well, I'm a conspiracy theorist by nature, and the human brain is not completely developed until the age of 25. All right, so that's one red flag in my mind. Another thing that, and it's interesting that we're talking about the agents now, because there's a project I'm putting together specifically about agents. And I thought I was the only one who saw certain things, but what you're seeing is along the lines of something that I'm researching right now. But I have noticed that there does seem to be a resurgence in the trend of almost prepubescent looking young girls again. Now, for a while, it seemed like it was shifting more toward the more mature, fully developed woman. As someone who was a cam girl for years, I even noticed that when I finally started to gain some weight, I was making more money, because my fans were like, "Oh, you're finally growing up," and I'm like, "Okay," but if they're only going for, see, what I'm wondering is, are they going to do something when it comes to this testing? Because we just talked about the discriminatory or segregation when it comes to pass. Are they getting ready to knock everybody who's currently in the talent pool out and start fresh? Is that what this is?
I don't know. It could be a portion of that.
It's an X-file.
All of these things could be true. All of these things could be true. But now, for those of us who love what we do and are not just in it for the money, we don't want to see that in the industry, because just that little snippet of sentence alone tells me a whole lot about what you.
A lot. Wow.
It tells me a lot, because when you're between the ages of 18 and 22,
you don't know what the hell's going on.
You don't know what's going on. Let's just even talk about body, for example. Okay, a stereotypical woman of porn between the ages of 18 and 22 has what kind of body?
A little boy's body.
So, even if she has tits and ass, it's still this little.
You're still a teen. You're typically a teen.
You haven't had kids yet. You haven't gained any weight. This is the ideal shape. So when you have a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds around that are looking the same across the board, that don't represent the bodies of all of those types of women, even representative of the women within that age range, that means you're only looking for a specific look. So if I come to you and say, "Hey, I want you to represent me," and you're like, "Oh, I only represent between the ages of 18 and 22. Okay, I'm 22 or I'm 20. So what's stopping you from representing me? Oh, well, you don't look like the normal 22-year-old. Now you can start playing with other things to keep me out and from being represented within your agency." I mean, this agency, I've specifically requested them because they represent BBWs, because they represent older women, because they represent, they had a larger talent pool. I wanted to see what they were going to say. I don't need a manager. I can manage myself. I've been a manager before. I've been a PR rep before. I've run my own company. I have my own fucking magazine. I don't need anything to do that. But I do certain things to test the waters and to see what kind of treatment I'm going to get, and to see, if I can trust that this company is going to be out for the betterment of myself. If he said, "Hey, you know what? I just don't really I think you need to work on your work a little bit more, or you need to work on your look a little bit more before I can represent you," or "I don't think you've been out here long enough doing enough for me to represent you," I can take that. That's true. Maybe I haven't, or maybe I do need to polish it up a little bit. Be constructive, but don't tell me it's just because I'm 43. Because I've seen bitches that are 60 that can, that are still rocking it. And if that's the case, are you getting rid of all the women in your roster that are that way? Because Carla Lane's not doing much for you right now. I love her to death, but she's really not doing much for you right now. She'll tell you herself she hasn't worked in a minute. What are you doing for her? You're not doing anything for her. She's on your roster because of her name. She's bringing clout to you. She's bringing us to you. She doesn't need you either. And that's the thing. A lot of the agency girls think that they need them. They really don't.
They're brainwashed into believing that they really are. They are brainwashed, at least in my opinion, into thinking that they do need these guys.
Yeah.
For the most part, they are men. And a
that's
lot of
why
the men are abusing that power that they have.
Mhm.
I mean, we just saw it with that LA Direct situation and the arrest and whatnot. And there's other agents who are doing the exact same thing.
Agents are pimps these days too. You know,
Yeah.
agents have the ability to bring in big clients that want to fuck their porn stars, and they want to give these girls $2,000 to go and you know, hang out with them for the evening, just to hang out, not even.
Well, I mean, and that's another thing. I mean, that 18 to 22, it's like, does he have a lot of Johns who only like little girls, and that's what he's really looking for? Just a question.
Or even if it's just even a mind control aspect of it, just getting them conditioned enough that they will become dependent on the fact that these men are able to give them money or to not give them work. I don't want these women to have to feel like they need to choose being able to eat if they say no to someone because they don't want to be treated a certain way.
Look for part 4 of this compelling interview with adult actress and performer advocate Lasha Lane on PNTlive.net.